The Diddy trial is underway. They quickly selected the jury today. The inner city press reported like Diddy wasn't even allowed in the courtroom around 8 a.m. By 9 a.m. he entered. By 10:30 a.m. they did their jury selections. The prosecution and the defense went through their picks, and they eliminated the ones they didn't want, and they got it down to a jury pool. They started with opening statements. Diddy has a female lawyer on his legal team of 10 to 12 people, and she's the one that's making the opening statements because it seems better coming from a female. She's leading with certain statements as if, like she's like, these girls that went, on vacations with Diddy and were in these explicit sexual situations that they shouldn't even be in a federal courtroom, and they liked it. They loved it. Now, if a guy said that, it would come off the wrong way. But if a woman says it, it's better. Now, Brian Steele is on the team. He argues that the video should be thrown out from the hotel. A lot of these... Now, the defense is trying to paint it as Cassie was the one calling the escorts, lining things up. Diddy is the one. I mean, I'm sorry, and then the Diddy was like, just like, wow, okay, you want to do it like this, it's like, it's kind of crazy the way they're trying to present it. The prosecution saying, no, she was forced to do this. She had no choice. It was forced. I don't know. It's like, we'll see how that goes. Cassie is going to be the most damning thing in this trial because she's pregnant. She's going to take the stand. She's going to point the finger at Diddy. It's not going to be a good look. It's not going to be a good look for Diddy at all. Now, there's a list of witnesses, even Little Rod's in the courtroom. I don't know if he's a witness or not, but you got the chef from 2019, which he settled out with, where she was claiming, he would be requesting sandwiches to be delivered while he was naked and having sex, and she was belittled. There's an assistant that says she was sexually assaulted called Mia. She turned on him. There's drivers. There's security. Multiple chefs, actually. There's more than one chef. His staff is turning on him. Now, some of these staff people are saying that they were being held against their will and all that, but then, the defense is arguing, no, they were hired people. How can you have them? They're under duress when they're hired. They could have just left. They're arguing that a lot of the people coming forward, why didn't they call the cops? This is a money play. This is, it's like they're both making their case. Now, I think Diddy's kind of cooked because there's so many people saying the same thing that it establishes a pattern that Diddy's just a jerk. Diddy is a control freak. Diddy makes people do things they don't want to do for money, for being around him. And to be honest, man, this is weird. Now, the tactic the defense is taking is that, hey, Diddy's he's just an asshole, and these people were mad at him. Really, all these people did this because they wanted to be a part of it, but as soon as he didn't want them anymore, they were mad. Even Ghana, one of his females from 2015, who was on Tasha K's podcast at one point talking about Diddy. Coincidentally, she would talk about Diddy and the abuse, but then she was seen with Diddy multiple times after that. But that's weird. Yeah, she's one of the witnesses. I think a lot of the witnesses will be disqualified, meaning they won't mean anything to the jury because it'll show a pattern of inconsistency from these witnesses. So we'll see, but Inner City Press is reporting a lot of this, and I think this trial is going to go quick. Even though they have a lot of witnesses, they seem to be rushing through this trial, and I think it'll be done within 2 to 3 months, to be honest with you. It's not going to drag on like a Young Thug trial for, 2 years. So I'll keep you guys up to date on that. A lot of people are questioning, is Jay-Z going to be brought up in this trial? Is Diddy going to try to throw Jay-Z in the hot seat with him when really Jay-Z has nothing to do with any of this stuff? We'll check you guys in the next one.